But as you can see, that Thor is almost dead. He really needs to repair it, because even with just a few Marines and a tank, I almost shot it down. And that Banshee doesn't really want to engage the Thor, because the Thor's quite good at anti-air. The reason the Banshee was there is just to really harass his SCVs from around the side and just keep him on the defensive while I get my economy really trucking along. Try and catch up with him. He's got some SCVs over here at the top side of the map. Those yellow minerals are the high yield minerals you may have seen in the demo games for StarCraft 2. Give you a lot more income for mining them relative to the blue ones. And here you go with the Banshee, just annoying him for a bit here. Banshee very good against Marines, but contrary to how they originally intended the Banshee, you can't actually do splash damage with it anymore, so not so great at killing Marines if you don't have a lot of them. But if you had about 4 or 5 Banshees versus 10 Marines, the Banshees would definitely come out better off very easily. But just generally, a lot of Marines will counter the Banshees just because they are weak against any sort of firepower. They're not very strong. Moving out here with 2 Thors, he's landed his command center back down. So he's still well in the game here, and he's got all his factories ready with all of their tech labs, and he's building a command center next to that mineral patch, the yellow ones. Notice that they're destructible rocks. They're preventing him from building the command center in the right position, so that's quite annoying for him, and he's looking to come in with maybe a contain or something. Yeah, he really needed to destroy those destructible rocks before putting that command center down. But here you go, a tank against Thor, stimming the Marines up. But man, that double effort from the Thor's easily destroying my tank, and in a bit of a bad situation here. Only got a couple of Marines to shoot out his Thor, and he's got plenty of hit points there. So moving in range, blasting away at the bunker as well is his big long range guns. And seeing that I've got a few troops there and he's low on health, wants to wait for a bit. And the Banshee moving in again. Really glad that I had this Banshee just to annoy him and making sure that he doesn't instantly fill out his expansion all over again. Watch this little firefight between the Marines and the Banshee. Banshee able to easily destroy a lot of these Marines, but doesn't really want to lose that much health because it's quite an expensive unit relative to the Marines, and you want to sort of keep it around and annoy your opponent by just coming back when he decides to move his Marines and harassing his SCVs. He's got an armory down as well, which allows you to build Thors, and he really should be upgrading weapon damage or something. I'm pleased with his decision to go with tanks, not for my sake, but for his sake, because tanks really good in this sort of situation where I'm containing my base. I've got Banshees, which are obviously ideal against tanks, but if he supports with his Thor, he'll easily be able to shoot down the Banshees. Now, the good thing about Banshees is you can cloak them, but the cloak upgrade is quite expensive too, so I haven't invested in it because I'm just building one Banshee at a time for annoyance purposes. I don't really need them cloaked. You don't really want to go cloaked if you're building Banshees from 2 starports, really committing to them and doing a lot of fighting with them just overall. And here he is at the field, killing my Banshee, having unfortunately run into his army out there, but I do see that he's got some tanks. That'll give me a bit of a heads up as to what he's got out there. And now building a lot of Marines as well to support his troops. Still harvesting over here with the high yield minerals. He's not really doing that too well though, because again the destructible rocks makes him harvest a bit longer, taking the long routes to get there. Building a lot of siege tanks here. I've got a lot of economy. I'm trying to spend as much as I can. I've got a couple factories of my own. Really running out of supply here, so just trying to bulk up with supply depots. These mules are awesome. If you guys start playing StarCraft 2, make sure that you upgrade a comsat station as soon as you can, because that allows you to call down these mules, and it's at a cost of energy. I mean, you get free workers for just energy cost, and that's the only real cost, is that you can't comsat as much to do detection. So if you do a lot of scouting with your units and you pretty much know what your opponent's up to, then you want to invest your energy in mules. If you really need to sweep him, or if you need to detect units, you need to save that and use the comsat detection for whatever he has out in the field. So that's a really good thing to bear in mind as Terran. And just starting to get the hang of it. My game has really improved a lot once I worked out how to really make the best use of comsat stations in StarCraft 2. So, interesting new mechanic, and I'm quite happy with the way it works. He's got a siege tank here, but you don't get vision, obviously, until you comsat or bring an air unit over. So he can't shell my infantry line. Sorry, my mining line, my mineral line, just yet. And really saving up on siege tanks. I've comsatted him. I see that he's setting up a siege. So just using a classic StarCraft 1 technique here, and that is to move out the SCVs first, allow them to take the initial hit from the tanks, and then move in with the rest of my army, siege up, and just wipe them out. So I've got heaps more troops than he does here. Unfortunately taking a lot of hits from his tanks first up, but as soon as my tanks siege up, just one volley, instantly killing all the Thors and the tanks. So really easy to get rid of contains like that when he didn't have too many troops there. Now it's just an easy matter of just moving around with the tanks and blowing away his lone tank here, which is really out of position, I must say. Easily destroying it. Now I can make a counterattack on his base and do some damage. So that looks to be it. Hopefully I can really wipe his base out with this next attack and seal the game. I feel like my opponent made a number of errors here. With his original strategy of taking 2 barracks and into a fast expand, I really like that strategy. I think that's quite cool. I might even try it myself. It's just that he attacked piecemeal with his Marines, didn't really put any pressure on me as such, and he allowed me to easily counterattack him. If he just come along with a SCV and built a barracks, sorry, not a barracks, a bunker right outside my line, and then just gone into his command center and expanded and then went quick tech, I think he would have had a better opportunity to win this game. But because I was able to counterattack, see what he was doing the whole game, and get my own expansion up very quickly, tech up very quickly, just generally be very efficient with with spending, it was pretty easy for me to dominate him through that game there. And I've got expansions going up now. I'm easily going to be able to spot this once I start scouting the map a bit more. And as you can see, he's got a siege tank up, but with all these tanks here, it's going to be quite easy to wipe everything out. Just a couple of volleys here. Quite powerful. Even got that Banshee to annoy him if he's got tanks but without marine support. And even the SCV here coming off before, so building an engineering bay, because I didn't realize that I had no turrets, no engineering base, so I couldn't build turrets. What I'm really worried about is that that he might show up with a whole bunch of Vikings and Banshees out of nowhere and just blow me to bits. So building some turrets would be a good idea at this stage, just out of paranoia. But looks like I've got this in the bag. Moving into a space with the tank and infantry. He's building some tanks to try and fend me off, hoping that I don't spot his high-yield Tiberian field at the top left. And man, with that many tanks, it's quite hard to lose. So tanks, really good unit in StarCraft 2. Originally, I didn't realize how good they'd be. That their prices changed, their range isn't as long. But just because other units in StarCraft 2 have changed, and the typical counters to tanks aren't maybe that good. I mean, what would you do against tanks in StarCraft 1? I guess you would drop them with stuff, you'd run them with Zerglings and Zealots and stuff to kill them. But generally, Marines are a lot more useful. They've got better upgrades. They've got support in terms of medivacs and Marauders, which are more effective than the Marine Medic combo in StarCraft 1, I feel. Marines are useful in all 3 matchups, so with Marines supporting your tanks, it's easier for the Marine tank combo to succeed. And that's actually quite encouraging. Terran actually a pretty good race in StarCraft 2 at the moment. A patch has just come out to actually reduce the time it takes to upgrade all of your infantry and vehicle weapons and armor. So that's quite cool. Without any real nerfs to them. So we're actually feeling really confident about playing Terran at the moment. Going quite well with them, and as you can see, blowing everything away. Looks to be it for the end of the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this TvT. And this is the GG. So see you guys in the next report.